So welcome to our final teach meet on the most awkward time possible, I think. I was trying to explain it to my staff. I'm like, so today after school there'll be some teachers coming on the second last Friday of term to talk about teaching, and everyone just kind of went like, my AP said to me, well, you're like that. And I was like, I know. And then no one else is here, as you can see. So we're meeting, we've actually got the first time ever 2 people appearing via video. So the second we'll hear from Ilya and Shireen, and I'm kind of hoping that will happen more. Obviously we'll have less teacher meets because 5 in 2 terms is probably too many. But you know, you give me something and I'll overdo the crap out of it. So here we are. But I think doing that is a good idea for our sort of rural, remote people, so they can participate, be involved, etc. So this is me. You already know what I'm about, so I'm going to skip that one. This is my reflection on this year. It's called the year of going fast and of going slow. So I don't know if you, apparently it's an African proverb, I've never heard of it, who actually said it, but you know, it's a proverb. It says if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yeah. So that's kind of how I've broken it down. So in terms of going fast, and this is not working for me, so this year I had a new teaching role which included a 0.6 time allowance, which is 3 days, so that's a real long time. Basically, and for the first 6 months I had all of that time without any students to look after in that time. So this is, I think, a once in a career allotment that will probably never happen again, all thanks to the Middle Years Literacy and Numeracy Support Initiative, which is a big money spent by the department, so I thank them for that. It gave me a lot of time to work out what I wanted to do, and as part of that, the picture here is my continuous reporting model that I brought in, obviously as part of the team here. So, going fast, going alone, these are the things I did solo. So I spoke at 4 different conferences, ResCon, National Education Summit. This is IT, which is the AU, and then at the Australian Association for the Teachers of English conference. And so I hadn't, as of this year, I hadn't spoken at any conferences, and by the end of this year I've spoken at 4. So I feel like, again, that's kind of how I work. Don't do anything and then do way too much. 3 years ago I started doing Flip Learning, and they have these online courses, and now I'm now one of the 40 international experts in that, and so that was like a goal I didn't realise I had, and they misspelled my name, but you know, what can you say? This stuff happens. And then obviously first time on a podcast. I don't know if anyone heard the first one of me talking to Cameron about reporting, but it was me like being very nervous and I don't know, is it good, whatever. And then just to last Friday, the one before, was national radio, which was again just crazy to me. First paid gig, so I did some stuff, got paid for that conference, wrote that study guide, and just made a couple of grand off that company over there. So I was pretty happy with that. I was like, well, you can get paid for doing teaching stuff. Obviously we all get paid, you know, it's a bit different. And then the whole point of that section really is that like I did stuff I didn't realise I could do, but it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was. So now, the year of we, which is going slower, going together, so these are the things that I did with other people, and obviously all this is kind of under the banner of I had way more time than normal, so you know, you would hope that if someone gave you 3 days off for a year that you'd get some stuff done. So at this conference I spoke with 2 English teachers from my faculty, and that was a lot more exciting because it was kind of like I was taking them through it, and we were collaborating, and it took a lot longer, as collaboration tends to, but I think the actual thing that we produced was a lot better. So just upstairs around there, I basically took all my Flip Learning stuff from my house and I set it up at school. So we've got a green screen, we've got a light board, we've got podcasting equipment, we've got all that sort of stuff. The top right is our maths department, made a whole bunch of videos so they could teach content that they said took 6 lessons in 2 lessons, so they differentiated all the levels, and that really excited me because I had almost nothing to do with that except that I built the light board that they used, so I was kind of like pretty excited that all of a sudden started happening. Obviously teach meets I think are good. Edu Reading's been really fun, getting the international and the kind of broad Australian perspective on things. And I've added this in just because George is going to talk about union stuff soon, straight after me, or whoever's next. But the AU's developed me as a leader, and we do something called the Education Committee. So for 2 years we've been meeting and just talking big education, big policy things. We have sort of important lecturers like Neil Selwyn's come out, and a whole bunch of mostly Monash lecturers have come out and spoken to us about things, and then we've written a policy based on that, and then had other academics come in and look at that policy and tell us what they thought was good, what was bad. So especially going slow, like 2 years we've written 2 policies, which are about 12 pages. So it's like every word, every clause, every little piece of information is kind of gone over and repeated and made sure it's precise, and then kind of rolled out to the broader union movement, I guess. And the whole point is that next time the government or the department comes out and says, here's this crazy thing we want to do, instead of us just saying, boo, we hate that, we'll say, no, and that's because of our curriculum policy or our inclusion policy or our assessment policy, and then we can kind of refer back to them there and be on the front foot is the goal. So, I think that's the end, but let's see. No, okay, so as of this year, there's a team of people that run Aussie Ed, which I didn't realise, which is a Twitter chat. These are the 4 I was involved with: Flip Learning, Talking Back to Research, the Melbourne Declaration, and one on Is Evidence Enough with Dr. Z, David Zeiniger. I don't know how effective those are in terms of like changing people's opinion, but they're really quick and very timely. So it's kind of like for the top right one, so PISA came out on the Tuesday, and on the Sunday we were discussing it. So that to me, in and of itself, the speed and the kind of flexibility of it is really interesting. So my goals for next year are to have Teach Meets not here and in other places. So Olivia is running one in term 1. We'll probably run another one at the National Education Summit if we can. And there's about 3 or 4 other people that are willing to run one of their schools, so spread that around. Facilitate professional learning rather than presenting. So I don't know, Australia's culture is very much like if you're speaking, then they'll just give you a PowerPoint and say, cool, go for it and start presenting. And they don't really want you to actually engage with anyone or get them to do anything. And so that's kind of something that I think probably should be a thing that is done more. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and support students and build inclusive practices at my school and more broadly. That's a harder cultural one, and then present with colleagues wherever possible. So if anyone wants to come to a conference and speak with me, sounds good, because me talking by myself is been there, done that, seen very little change in front of the people I speak to. So, George, you're up.